Hi everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. Welcome to my September and October reading wrap up. The first two comics that I finished reading in September or October, I'm not sure when. Reading has been a bit chaotic for me lately still, but that is volumes 7 and 8 of Sonic the Hedgehog, which are written by Flynn. There's a couple of Flynn, Thomas, Stanley, and Tremonteo. This one continues on this arc that the comics have been going through, where there is this metal virus that Eggman, our villain, has brought into the world, but it has no cure, so it turns everything that it touches into metal zombies, zombots, and it's just how the team end up saving the world from that. Most people probably do know who Sonic the Hedgehog is, but if you're not aware, it is a superhero-esque comic series, but it's actually got animals in it. It does have some people, but mostly animals, and the main character himself is a hedgehog. And it's all about his adventures as he continues to save the world from the evil human, Dr. Robotnik, who is also called Eggman, depending on which version. I had a good time reading these. It is probably about time that Daniel and I get the next copy and see how the adventures continue on. I don't really have a lot to say, spoiler free. My favourite characters are probably Silver and Shadow. I find them really interesting. That's all I want to say about this one. The next book has a content warning for non-fiction true crime. It features an American girl who was kidnapped at the age of 12 and kept for many, many years into adulthood, and how she eventually became freed from that situation. And it does detail her life and the abuse that she suffered at the hands of her captor. So there is a content warning for those of you who do not wish to see this part of the review, and I will put a timestamp so that you can skip forward if you need to, but that is A Stolen Life by J.C. Dugard. I was actually a bit afraid of this book to begin with. I didn't want to think about the content or think about the fact that this happens to people. I do listen to a true crime podcast called Crime Junkies, and I really enjoy listening to it. It is good to be, it's weird saying that I enjoy listening to it because it's not a fun topic. It is entertaining and it is good to be aware, but reading so much detail into it was a bit scary for me, because when the podcast is playing, it is people telling the story. It's not from the perspective of actually being in there and being the one that had experienced it. So I was a bit terrified to read JC's book. I didn't want to be in that state of terror, anxiety for the time that it took me to read this book, but I was also really intrigued by it. And as I kept reading, I did actually end up reading the whole thing, and it was within the first, I think it was in the introduction, it gave me confidence and made me less afraid to continue the story, because JC talks about how she wasn't sure whether she wanted to write this book or not, but she went, well, this is my life. I don't want my abductors to think that I am ashamed of anything that happened to me. So she just talks about the fact that why should she not speak about her experiences, and that it was also incredibly difficult to put herself back in that mindset, but I believe it was healing by the end of it. And that helped me to read the book myself and realize that, why am I afraid of the book? Because again, this is JC's story. This is from her perspective, and she was just a girl who was taken from her family. So then I read the book. It was difficult at some parts at the beginning when she talks about the sexual assault in a lot of detail, but after describing the first couple of times, she then will just summarize over it, so that made it easier for me to read. And again, the irony of me talking about this being difficult when I'm not even the person who read it. So I did want to read it and honor her, since I ended up getting a copy of this book in my possession, but I won't be keeping it. I'm just incredibly sad for JC and for the life that, as the title says, was quite literally stolen from her, but in awe of the spirit that she had, and that she has able to make a life for herself and still find the joy in things after experiencing so many horrible things for such a long time. I think it was 18 years. Yeah, 18 years. I don't know if I'll be reading another true crime nonfiction. I've always found them interesting and like intriguing, I suppose, and always wanted to read them, but it wasn't until this one that I actually did sit down and read one. I don't know if I would read something like this again. I do everything that I can to protect my own family and myself, but for my mental health, I don't know if this is a deep dive that I want to go into. The next book I want to talk about is a DNF, and I'm sad to DNF this. This is Con Gilden's first book in his Wars of the Roses series, Stormbird. I have seen these books around. I gather that this is a pretty popular series. I've seen these books around for years and always wanted to read them. I saw this in a little free library. I was stoked. Look how shiny it is. But I was in this historical fiction mood, and so I picked it up, started reading it, and it's just too slow. I don't know if pre-Baby Joe would have been able to read this, but I'm just embracing what my life is like now. I have less time, I have to cut some things, and one of these things is that I'm trying to honor what I want to DNF more. I'm trying to trust myself more, and that is, believe me, is a theme of my life right now. I am trying to learn to trust myself and believe in myself a bit more. I am sad, but I'm glad that I trusted myself to DNF it and continue on with the next thing. So now I just want to briefly talk about what I'm reading right now and a bit of insight into what my reading life has been like. I'm just trying to trust my reasoning to DNF right now. I don't know whether my reading taste is changing. I think that's untrue though. I think it is all just about the books that I'm reading, and because I have less free time with being a mum, I have less time to read through slower books. So basically every time I pick up a book, which is not often these days, I want to enjoy it straight away. I don't want to have to read through certain bits to get up to the enjoyable part, because I know now that I have more trust and faith in myself and in books. I know that there are books that from the onset I'm interested. So even if it means that I have to DNF a whole bunch in a row, it feels really shitty because it feels like I don't like reading. But as soon as I pick up something that I'm really interested in, then I feel excited about it and I read a lot. So I'm reading 3 books at the moment, which is kind of hard because they are all books that I'm a bit afraid to start and then stop, because I'm afraid that I'm gonna lose where I'm up to and forget things, and so I would ideally have liked to have read them all in one go, but I keep bouncing around. The next thing that I ended up picking up is The Family History, and I was inspired by this because my great aunt did all of this research on family history. I've had this book for maybe a year or 2, so I also would really like to get this read. But then I also really felt like historical fiction too, so I picked up The Armor of Light by Ken Follett. This was also something that I wanted to see if Ken could capture my interest again. I've been a bit 50-50. He has written one of my most favourite books in the world, which made me cry, sob my eyes out. But there's also been a couple within that one series, because I've only read his Kingbridge series, his Pillars of the Earth series, and there's some within that I haven't enjoyed as much, and this is his latest one. What I've experienced with this so far is that he can still make me care about the characters, but he can also lose it, which has been a bit disappointing. It's picked up again. I'm only... Oh, I've lost where the bookmark is in it. I think Miles was playing with it. I don't know. This far. I'm really early days with it, and I'm still enjoying it. There's no reason why I didn't want to pick it up, but then I was on Bookstagram and I was looking at reels, and so I picked up this again. Because I started it, was not super interested in it. I needed a bit of time to know that it's going to take a while to build the romance between the characters. I need to kind of get used to that and enjoy the fantasy setting and all that kind of stuff, be prepared that the romance was not going to happen straight away. And then, yeah, Book Talk Reels just was like, I want to read it and experience it. So I'm having a really good time. This is my main book right now. I'm up to page 150. Still early days, obviously, but I'm really enjoying it now, even though the romance is not there, because I know what's going to happen. For me, that has actually been, usually I don't like spoilers, but knowing who, I'm so interested to see the build up. I'm having a really nice time with that. Thank you so much if you have watched this video. It is so nice to see you guys again. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you would like to say that you've commented, like that you've watched the end of this video but you don't know what to comment, then please comment a book emoji. I hope you guys are having a lovely time, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!